some of the laws you might not understand, and you might think, hey, what's going on here? So I'm here just to run through 14 of them today, just to let you know the sort of thing you're going to come across when you come to Thailand. It's perfectly safe. It's a great country to visit, but you do need to know about these laws. Okay, so the first law, it might seem very, very strange, and it is law. It is written down in the statute books, the Royal Gazette. It's leaving house with no underwear. It's actually illegal in Thailand to go outside of your own residence wearing no underwear underneath your trousers, pants, as the Americans call them. I don't know how they'd actually catch you. I've actually gone commando a couple of times myself. I've needed to go over to 7-Eleven to pick up some bits and pieces. I've just thrown on a pair of shorts, nothing underneath. I suppose if you had an accident and they had to cut the pants off you, then I guess they'd find out. I suppose technically they could prosecute you, but that is illegal to go outside of your property wearing no underwear. Okay, the other one's a little bit, well, quite a bit more serious now. This is the Defamation Act. It's actually illegal in Thailand to leave bad reviews for a business. Now, anywhere else in the world, if you stay in a hotel or a restaurant, you've had a not great so experience, you can go online and you can tell everybody about your experience. But here in Thailand, you can't do that. It is actually against the law. Now, there is ways to do it in a roundabout way if you're very, very subtle. I do a lot of hotel reviews. I don't ever say something was terrible because obviously it's against the law. It's just how it is here. It might seem strange to you in your own country. So the way around it is you can say things that kind of hint that you wouldn't come back again. But there has been people deported for this very, very strict law about writing bad things about businesses. A case a few years ago, there was a guy. I don't mean if you just write, I didn't like this hotel, it wasn't very good and I won't stay here again. I don't think anything would happen for something like that. But there was a guy, he was what you would call an influencer. He had a few thousand followers on Facebook and he thought that gave him the right to do whatever he wanted in Thailand, and he wanted to take a bottle of his own whiskey into a hotel, and of course they charge a corkage fee if you bring your own liquor or your own alcohol into a hotel. That's very, very normal. He kicked off. He didn't like the fact that they were going to charge him, and it was a case of, do you know who I am? And he acted all high and mighty. He went away and he made lots and lots of bad comments about the hotel. The staff are terrible, the food is terrible, and he didn't let on. He just done lots and lots of very, very bad comments, and he was actually given the choice to be removed from the country, deported, or he had to go in public and apologise to this hotel, which was a massive loss of face for him, very embarrassing. So be very, very aware of this defamation. It is in the statute box. It is law. Now this number 3, another quite comical one for you and I, is driving a motorcycle or operating a vehicle without wearing a shirt can result in fines. So not quite as strict as the last one, but it is actually illegal. You know, in your own country, if you're out and about and it's very, very hot, a lot of guys will just take their shirts off. That's normal. Women don't think nothing of it. And but here in Thailand, it's actually illegal to operate any machinery, drive a car or a motorcycle, anything like that. You must be wearing a shirt at all times. Number 4. I have to try and say this in a roundabout way. Adult toys for pleasure are absolutely illegal in Thailand. You do see them being sold here and there on markets, not in official shops, of course, but they are illegal as well. So the last thing you want is to be coming through customs and they pull something out your bag and start waving it around. You don't want to be caught up like that. Okay, so to anybody who hasn't been to Thailand before, a Durian is a very, very smelly fruit. Okay, it's about slightly bigger than a coconut, smaller than a watermelon. It's banned in all hotels. There's signs in reception. Durian's not allowed to be eaten here. But there is actually a law regarding Durian fruit, and that is violence. It's actually using a Durian as a weapon. You can be fined. So a Durian fruit has spikes on it, and depending on the number of spikes that impale your victim depends upon the fine that you'll get. So if you throw a Durian at somebody and a couple of spikes get them in the face, then that'll be one fine. Whereas if it the whole thing sticks to the poor guy's face, then you're going to get a hefty fine. Okay, so don't be throwing any Durian fruit at anybody. Number 6, you'll have heard this on lots and lots of videos before, including mine in the past. It's a very old one now, but I thought I'd include it in here anyways. Don't drop any money. If you drop money on the floor, don't put your foot on it to save it blown away, because that is actually illegal, because the king's head is printed on all currency as it is in any other country. And when you put your foot on a note, you're putting your foot on the king's head. It is illegal, and you could actually technically be arrested for it. But I guess as a foreigner, if you pleaded ignorance and said you didn't know, the Thai people are quite kind, and they would probably turn a blind eye and say, look, don't do it again. It's very disrespectful, but try not to do it anyway. Okay, this one is very, very serious, and you might wonder why in your own country, vaping around the world was seen to be a replacement for smoking, much, much healthier, although now it's turning the other way. They're saying vaping is actually a lot more dangerous than smoking. I used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day. I gave up. I went on to vaping. I thought it was a better option. And I was sitting on a beach in Hua Hin one day, and I looked up and there was a sign. It said, vaping is illegal. 20,000 baht you can have a fine of 20,000 baht, or you can go to jail for 2 years. And I thought, well, 20,000 baht's bad enough, but there's no way I'm going to end up in a Thai jail. You know, that's not for me. So I gave up on the spot. Now, what will happen, I dare say people will write in and say, well, I've seen lots of people vaping in Thailand, and I myself vape, and you go to a nightclub and people are vaping. Yes, you will see people vaping, and you will see people selling vapes on little street markets, not in the main shops, because they are illegal. But the police, from time to time, they do crackdowns, and they do arrest these factories, these people who are supplying the vapes. It's on the news all the time. You might come here and you might spend a couple of weeks vaping and you're fine, as you see lots of other people vaping, but you're giving the police an excuse to arrest you. Now, whether it's for a fine, or whether it's to go through the court system, or whether it's for some under the table money, you don't want to be giving anybody an excuse. It is actually the law. It might seem stupid to you. You might think, well, vaping, you know, in any other country you can vape. Why is it against the law in Thailand? The fact is, if you come here to Thailand, you need to respect the law that vaping is illegal. And if you want to take the risk and do it, that's up to you. But you can get arrested for vaping. Okay, as silly as you might think it sounds, you can get arrested. The next one is very common knowledge here in Thailand. Alcohol you can just about buy everywhere. A lot of alcohol flows freely all over Thailand. The Thais love alcohol, as do Western and everybody who comes to Thailand. Alcohol is a very big thing here. But did you know it's illegal for any shops to sell alcohol between the hours of 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. The sale of alcohol is prohibited between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. and from midnight till 11 a.m. except in a licensed establishment. So obviously, if you go to a nightclub that's open till 2 o'clock in the morning, they're going to be able to serve alcohol after midnight, but they'll have a special license. But something that's quite irritating, sometimes you'll go out for the day, you'll come here on vacation, you'll go out for a day, might go to the Grand Palace or one of the other great tourist attractions here in the city of Bangkok. You come back, you're dropped off, and it's 4 o'clock, you're outside of 7-Eleven, you're going to go up to your room and you think, you know what, I'm going to have a little sleep, a couple of hours, we're booked to go to dinner about 7:30. I'm going to grab myself a couple of cold beers, go up, have a beer, have a shower, and grab an hour's sleep before dinner. And you know what? You can't grab that beer at 4 p.m. because it's illegal. So what you need to do is go upstairs to your room, come back down to 5, and it's very, very irritating, but that's the law here in Thailand. Right, number 9. It is illegal to insult, defame foreign monarchs or heads of states with penalties of up to 7 years in prison. Well, you know, in a lot of countries in the West, if you see a foreign diplomat coming along, it's normal. You always get these protest groups. They start shouting things when they leave the car and they go into the building. Things they're not happy about, but it's just seen as free speech, isn't it? Unless you pelt eggs at somebody. I mean, that's a little bit more serious, or try to cause them some bodily harm. But just shouting abuses or things you're not happy about, normally nothing would happen. But if you do that in Thailand, a foreign dignitary gets out of his car and he's walking up the steps to some official building or wherever, some residency, and you start shouting things at him, you can get 7 years in prison. It seems harsh, but you know, Thailand, they crack down on things like that. They don't want to lose face and be embarrassed in front of other countries by this sort of thing happening. They want their dignitaries to be able to come here without any worry. Now this one is makes sense, but you probably haven't heard about it. It's illegal to possess more than 120 playing cards without government permission. It's illegal, aiming to curb unregulated gambling. Well, if you've been here fairly often, you know the Thais absolutely love gambling. You know, they're thinking about legalizing casinos on the border. Whether they will or not, I don't know. I don't want to say too much here because I actually live in Thailand full time, but well, let's just leave it at that and say the Thais love gambling. Gambling goes on, but you know, if you've got more than 120 playing cards, then you could come unstuck. Again, you could ask the question and say, well, how is somebody going to come and knock on your door and say, I'm the card counting police, get your cards out? No, I don't think that's a bit silly. I think basically what it is, if they raid a particular room and people say, well, we're just playing for fun, we're all friends, you know, having a few beers, then obviously if they count a few hundred cards, then it's run as an illegal casino, isn't it? So that's the whole reason about it. Another one, and this is a law that's been around in Singapore for a long time.